Oh snap, I had this epiphany. It's kind of a cool epiphany. And maybe it can help other people who are just coming into universe and then maybe bouncing back over to like an understanding of self and what's going on through Aquarius signs and things like that. Say you're in love with a Libra, and say you're watching your Aquarius sign titles. You're looking for the best title that means something for you, and you find them. And a lot of what the lady is saying, which I like to listen to ladies more. I think a woman's voice is more soothing, and when they're positive and excited, it kind of makes me positive and excited. It just gives me rejuvenation. But anyway, so say you're paying attention for you, and you're watching the video, and you're like, no, 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 not that, not that, not that. I'm starting to think some of the things, like when you like see so many of the things that mean something to you for what you're trying to see about this love for yourself and things that are happening. The girl I'm in love with was a Libra. I had a Libra move in. Mom said she really needed to rent the room out. I put the room on Craigslist, and all of a sudden a Libra moves in like that. Within the day, a Libra moves in. So I kind of drew a Libra to me. It's a guy. And I think when I'm watching these videos, and it could be other people too, and I try to remind myself of that, but I'm so into wanting to hear the things that are going to cheer me up, keep my positive vibe going and stuff. So there's a combination of things that I do to do that, and tarot cards are something. Before I just started reading a book of my mom's on science, and I just started reading about Aquarius, and I was like, well, and I watched a video on Aquarius, and I'm like, I remember reading this book and just, knowing that, wow, that is me, like, to the T. So, and these things have been helping me. So, and I also listen to ministers, because I am godly and stuff, and I do appreciate when the tarot card readers say God bless and stuff like that. And I know it's like, this God or that God, there's some confusion, but that's not what this is about. I trust God in that He's using all things for my greater good, okay? So, but anyway, I'm not going into that, judging any of it or whatever. I have some pretty weird ideas about everything and how, things, yeah. Anyway, back to the subject. Just saying that sometimes when you're kind of fighting the thoughts that are coming from the other ones, you want to hear the good stuff. You don't want to hear the bad stuff. You don't want to agree with the bad stuff, because what you think is what you create, right? So, that's where I'm going. I'm going to create my life exactly the way that I want it, as positive as I want it, as healthy as I want it, as, beautiful and loved and all that. So, but anyway, I think some of the confusion is just that I have a Libra energy around me, and that energy is like when she's reading stuff, and I'm like, no, that has nothing to do with me. And whatever relationship I'm having with him, whatever's going on in between me and him, some of those things are starting to make me think. And I thought that a couple times. I was like, talking about him, with all the details about that, which I'm not going into, because that's not the dream. I mean, he's cool, I'm cool, we know each other, I cook for him, he does nice things for me, we do things back and forth, whatever, but that is not my goal. My goal is my girl, my love. And, he can continue to rent here and be with my mom or whatever, because my mom, she thinks he's cool, she's very loving of everybody, sometimes she didn't like certain things about people, but anyway, that's not about it, I'm going off track, but anyway, so, I'm just saying that, like, when I read in the tarot cards and I'm feeling that, like, no, what is that? You know, and I kind of just click off of it and I'm like, try to go find something else. I just figured out that, you know, I have a sign that's the same as the sign I'm in love with, but is a man. So when this confusing thing comes in, I'm like hearing her talk for the first 15 minutes, and everything's like, wow, oh my god, wow, oh my god, wow, and then something else comes up, and I've thought, I was like, is it talking about? Is it talking about? And so that's my kind of epiphany, that those confusing moments, those confusing little parts where you're like, it kind of makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense for what you're focusing on. But because you're part of the other Libra energy around you, and you know about that, behind the thought of your goal is that stuff. Because I deal with him every day, and he deals with me every day, and we have some kind of friendship relationship, roommate relationship, whatever. So those things are coming in and out of the tarot card readings as well. And I even told him, it's like, you know, listen to some Libra tarot card readers, and if you hear the negative stuff, ignore it. Listen for like the things that bring you joy. That's something I say about even just like believing in God and believing things for yourself. Believe for the things you hear that bring joy to your heart and bring freedom to you and bring peace and bring healing and health to you, because that's what God gives. Nothing bad comes from God. All things that are good comes from God. Everything that comes from God frees you from bondage. It frees you from hatred. It frees you from all these things. So you have to remember when you're hearing other people talk about what they're feeling. Okay, someone else could sit there and hear that negative, you know, that they're saying, oh, this bad thing's going to happen and this bad thing's going to happen. I like the tarot cards. It's like this stress that you're going to have, it's going to be okay, you're going to come through it. I'm like, those are ones I like to hear. The ones that have a positive, encouraging type of feel to it. Kind of like, you know, this isn't going to hurt you, Aquarius. This is going to do better for you. And you'll think it's hard, but just go through it and you'll be fine. That's what I like to hear, you know? And, of course, the more positive stuff that doesn't have anything to do with any negative at all. And I know there will be negative, but we don't have to, if we don't perceive it as negative, then we're not inviting that negative in as clearly. It says not to give the devil a foothold. So anything that's negative is the devil. I mean, if it means like you feel like you're gonna die, you know, God's telling you to walk through the valley of death without fear, right?